Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Creel, brand ambassador, pin seeker, and owner of VC Golf, and today I'm going to be talking to you about part 2 of our speed series. So if you didn't catch our speed series the last couple of weeks, we have a 2-part series that's going to be our speed video 1 talks about the kinetics and the kinematic sequence. So it's going to talk about how your body moves and how it should move and the firing sequence from the top. So catch that video before you watch this one. You can click the link in the top corner. So today we're going to be talking about weight distribution, weight transfer in the swing. You know, there's a big trend out there with people talking about using the ground, and it's called ground reaction forces, which are very important, and you can maximize your distance if you understand them, but it is a deep and dark rabbit hole. And what I mean by that is you got to understand it and make sure you do it in the right order. Today I'm just really talking about the lateral movement. This is what I see that benefits most players that come through my bay very, very quickly on hitting the ball solid. So when we get to the top, we want some little movement from the right to the left, or your trail foot to your lead foot, depending on which side golfer you are, left or right. So we're going to get to our lead side, and what that does is when we shift, that allows us to rotate and then vertically move off the ground. So that's the 3 movements. We do lateral, rotational, vertical, but lateral is key because that's the one that sets the timing of the other moves, okay, and how efficient we are. The other 2 are going to happen. But if you have too much lateral, so I get a lot of people that continue to slide throughout the swing and their hips get way forward, their upper body tends to hang back. Some of them get up here, but most of them, they hang back, so their center of mass is hanging back, but their pressure is trying to drive forward as much as possible, and you'll see a lot of bend in this leg. And when that happens, you can't rotate right. And then also, you can't lift off the ground right. So the 3 or 4 trends that I see that people come through my bay is, I'm going to go over, we slide too far forward, and we just keep going through the impact zone. Right through here, I just discussed that one. Probably the most common one that I see is people get on their right side, so when they take the club back, their center of pressure shifts to their right side, and then it gets to the left side, and it looks good. We're about midway down, and what I see is these people shift back towards their trail foot again to try to help the ball up. And then I see too many people get on their far right side, and what happens is they can't even get to the left side because all the weight is on their outside of their right foot. And you got to think, if that weight gets on the outside of their trail foot, okay, that means that their leverage is going that direction. So, got a couple of drills here. And before I jump into the drills, I want us to understand something. In all other sports, we get on our left side a little bit or more efficiently than we do in golf. For some reason, I got super athletes that come through that played baseball. They were talented baseball players, football players, tennis players, whatever it may be. And again, they can properly throw a ball or play tennis, but for some reason in golf, we continually play off this back foot. So my drill to help that is I'm going to set up to the ball. Normally, this is a 9-iron. I say do it with a 9 or a wedge. And I'm going to set up like I normally would. I normally would move the ball, but I'm in this launch monitor. I'm going to shift to where the ball is now on my front foot. So if I'm thinking here and I'm looking down, my bottom is right here. I've got to make contact up here. So if I do my normal hanging back, I'm going to hit the top of the ball or hit the ground fat and bounce over the ball. So for me to deliver a solid contact, I'm going to have to really lean into this left side and lead with my hands. So this is going to speed up the hands, speed up the rotation, and help move the weight from our trail foot to our lead foot, which improves everything. So again, get your normal setup, and I want you to push the ball normally forward, but because I'm in this launch monitor and I want it to read, I'm going to move my body. And you can see I've got the ball in the front of my stance. And I made very good contact with that, and I had to get to my lead side. And you can see it's a little bit of a pull, so don't worry about that, okay? So that's drill number 1, and that's going to teach us how to get to our lead side and stay there. I think it's a good drill for anybody to do, and if you can't hit it solid, that means you do have a weight distribution or center of pressure problem where you're not getting to your lead side either fast enough or you're not getting there and staying there, okay? So momentum is a thing, okay? What I notice, and this goes along with the iron as well, is people, when they start about 50-50. A lot of times they start with too much weight on their trail foot. When I was growing up, I was told basically 60-40, have more on your trail foot so you can rotate around it, but that's wrong. So we either want somebody, worst case scenario, 50-50, but I like a little bit of like 55 or 60 on the front foot, okay? And the reason why is if I want to move weight to my right side and load appropriate, like this, it's easier if I push off one side. A lot of people don't realize when they rotate, they're pushing into the ground to make that move happen. The harder you can actually leverage into the ground and use the ground to rotate, the faster you're gonna be, okay? So this drill is gonna help us through momentum, okay? Momentum is helpful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from here, and you notice if I start with the club here, I'm gonna be pushing a little bit more into my left leg. And then I'm gonna take the club back, and that's gonna cause this little sway effect, okay? The momentum, all right? And it's just gonna give you a good feel. And if you notice, a lot of those long drive guys, they'll start out here, but they also do this. And they'll rock before they hit, and then they'll time it. And because it's the momentum, and it allows them to push pressure into the ground and leverage themselves back and forward, okay? Helps the lateral movement. It times the swing, okay? So this is not gonna only increase the consistency of how well you hit the ball, but you're gonna gain a lot of speed, okay? So we're gonna start here, back, and then through. And I just want you to feel the freedom of the lateral movement while keeping it under control, okay? And I'm gonna start above the ball, and I'm gonna start here. Lost my balance, and that's fine. But that's how I would like you to perform that drill. So that is 2 really good drills for you to work on your lateral movement. Again, I remind you, lateral movement is the first movement in the downswing that should be happening, and it sets up how efficient you are in your rotation and in your verticals. And that's gonna be pushing into the ground and then coming back up and releasing, okay? So if you have a teaching pro that has some kind of force plates or a pressure mat, it's good to get on those to see where you are and see how you can be most efficient using these ground reaction forces. So the ground reaction forces influence not only just how fast you can be and how efficient you are, it influences the low point in the swing, your angle of attack, and a really important one that everybody works on is their swing path. So the thing is, if you don't use the ground right, your path could be way, way off, okay? So if you hang back on that back foot, your tendency is gonna be to come over the top, and we really want you to shallow out. And again, this is a good way to influence that without thinking about it. So if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions, and also if there's other content that you want to see out in the future, please post it below. Make sure you download the Pin Seeker app, most important, so you can hop in and not only play just fun competition around the world, but you can play for swag and cash, and we do have weekly giveaways. So thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, happy pin seeking.